Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to a weekly show that we have called Sports Weekly and Bob's Locks of the Week. I am Dan, and this is my friend Bob. Say hello, Bob.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you?
Wow, you got a really good radio voice going on. All right, so obviously, Sports Weekly means that we are talking everything sports on the Nerd Culture podcast here. Just a little history. I've known Bob for about 25 years now. Is that right, Bob? Has it been 25 years now? Whew.
It has been actually a little longer, believe it or not. I met Dan in 1991,
Wow, okay.
so
So
it's
30
past
years.
30. But
30 years.
who's counting? Who's
Who's
counting? We
counting?
lose track. Lose track. Feels like yesterday. So
So Bob fits right in on a nerd culture podcast because in high school, Bob was a big nerd that we always picked on. Uh,
that
and,
is very true.
and we have a very good common ground in sports. And it is, it all started with hockey and it just kind of bloomed from there. Um, so Bob, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your sports background, because you're not really like in the industry, but you have like a huge background in sports knowledge. So I just want to hear a little bit more about this because you every time I talk to you, you know a lot of things, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, when I was little, I just started watching sports at the age of three with my grandfather, watching the Yankees. Yeah, it was 1980, the lean years, as they call it, in the for the Yankees. But yeah, we watched Phil Rizzuto, Bill White on
Wow.
Channel 11, and man, I just started knowing the players, and it was just one of those things. I would happen to just look, and I just knew all the players within like a year. I could tell you the whole lineups, and
So,
I started watching the box scores in Star Ledger. And yeah, newspaper. This is how dating myself a little bit, but that's all I did. We would literally go through the. I would go through all the rosters and everything like that.
wow,
And
that's crazy. And your grandfather is over 100 years old right now, right? I think he turned 101 this year.
he turned 101 on April
Holy
25th.
cow.
That is correct.
And he's still a huge Yankee fan, I bet.
He still watches them. Still watches them. Still gets aggravated by them. When they play like the Bad News Bears, and yeah, that's him. He lives and breathes with them. Really does.
Well, since we started talking about the Yankees, let's talk about the Yankees because I'm honestly started watching them earlier in the year this year. So we'll just talk about them this season. And we knew they were, we know they have a team that on paper looks pretty good. But when we watch them, I started watching earlier in the year and I kind of gave up on them a little bit because I figured they were just going to take off. And now I've been catching up on them a little bit more, and they're terrible. Like, I'm not terrible, but they're just not good. Like, they're just not good right now. Let me ask you a question. Why are they so bad?
Well, first of all, they're not Yankee standard. They're if you're a team of most teams, you'd be happy. You make the playoffs every year.
Right,
Yankee standards are we want to win the World Series, right? We
right.
won one in 2009. We want to win another one. We're greedy. Let's admit we had a dynasty time with Joe Torre up in the mid 90s to 2000, and we got greedy, and
Hmm.
we want to be good. We have a big payroll. We don't want to go over luxury tax, but we're right there, and that's it. So we started off 12 and 14. We always start off in April. We're like, the weather. We start out cold, and we usually warm up.
Exactly what happens.
In May, we went to 17 and 11. That's great. We're 11 and 10 now in June, and we've actually won 7 of our last 10 ball games. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
I am aware of that, but we lost last night to the
We
Boston
lost
Red
to the Red
Sox.
Sox, and
Right.
we've lost all four games to the Red Sox, and that's a problem.
That's a
So
problem, especially where the Red Sox are right now, right? Because if I'm
well,
looking at the standings, where are they exactly in the standings? Are
they're
they
in second place. They're
second
in
place?
second place.
So
They are above us. Yeah.
right.
So
So
that's an issue. We need to catch them.
that's a must win. I mean, to me, that's a must win. If the Yankees
Yep.
are losing to the second place team, and I'm looking at the standings, and where the hell are we at the moment? Hold on, I'm gonna put a little curse words out here every once in a while.
We're in third place in the division,
We're in
40
third
and
place, but how
35.
many games back are we at the moment? Four and a half?
Five. Five. We're five out behind Tampa.
Five. So
Tampa.
okay, wild card four and a
Yeah.
half. Got it. All right, now I'm looking at this. All
Yeah.
right, that's
Yeah.
that's not acceptable to me at the moment.
No.
At least as a Yankee fan, I mean,
No.
Boston's a half game back from first place, and the Yankees are 5 games back, and I guess it could be worse. It could be. I mean, the record is a winning record. It's over 500, 40 and 35, but we should be more. We should be better. I mean, we should be that team that should be a half game back right now. And the problem that I always see is that right before the All-Star break, which is probably coming up soon, is the Yankees, go on, maybe go on a little winning streak, and then right afterwards, come July, they start losing games again. And this is like a typical Yankee thing. And it upsets me a little bit more. Because we shouldn't be like that. But let's get into player personnel, because what needs to change? What needs to change with the Yankees for them to start winning? Do we need to get rid of players? Do we need something in a position, a better pitcher, better hitting? What exactly does need to change in here?
Well, unfortunately, we're locked in with Giancarlo Stanton, and they don't want to. No one wants him. Derek Jeter, that was his best trade, probably getting rid of him. And we're still with him. We have we have two similar players with Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. You're always crossing your fingers when they're going to get hurt, right? I mean, it's just a matter of time. They walk down the stair the wrong way. They pull a hamstring or a quad or whatever. It's unbelievable. So right, you're always locked in, with Giancarlo, and you're going to live and die with him. A lot of his home runs and RBIs come during non-meaningful times. Really does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a couple tying home runs lately, and go ahead, but it's not the norm with him. He's not a clutch player. Let's be real. I mean,
right.
We're station to station. We don't have any guys who can run, steal bases. You watch it. I watch a lot of baseball, and I have the MLB TV, and I'm watching games all night, all day. After work, of course, right? But the base hit. They go first. They stay station. They're waiting for the long ball. That has to change. I know it's a Yankee way, but it's not working. We can't string consecutive hits together. So it's a tough watch.
I always saw Stanton was a little overrated myself. When they first got him, I was like, well, it may not be a bad idea. And then when I'm watching him, I'm like, he's not that great. I'm like, he just needs to be a little overrated. So let's talk about All-Star, because as we know, Judge and LeMahieu are the two guys that are pretty much slated to go to the All-Star game right now. Do you feel both of them deserve to be in the All-Star game? Because I only feel Judge needs to be there, and that's it.
Their thing in DJ from last year pretty much is carrying over. That's what's really going on. Believe it or not, Sanchez is making a run for it right now. He's actually had he has 13 home runs already.
I just see that. Yeah, he's pretty hot.
Most of them in June. He's really hot.
Yeah, he's really hot right now.
You got to attribute that he's dropped that heavy leg kick he had. He had that real exaggerated high leg kick.
That's right. Yeah,
he's got rid of it. And he's hitting, and the timing's on now. He's on time on the ball. He's driving the ball, and that's what they need.
All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree that, so you're just saying it was DJ from last year. That's why he's going there, and Sanchez making a run for it. And I think we both agree that Judge belongs there because he's the best player on the team right now, as far as I'm concerned.
He's in a slump right now, but he did hit three.
He'll get out of that.
He went 3 for 3 with a homer on Thursday, and last night he had a rough night. But I think they'll turn around. It'd be nice if they can. The way I look at it, I think they're only going to win maybe one game this series, but
we'll see.
But they can't get swept. They can't get swept, and then they're home this week for Anaheim, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and we'll see what happens. And that's a tough team too, because Ohtani, and we could touch that next week.
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Yeah.
But
Well,
but
this is so just so everyone knows, Bob and I recorded this on Saturday morning because Bob's away right now. And by the time I upload this, he'll be back. So we're doing this basically this is Sunday to next Sunday. So we'll talk about anything, that happened during the week next Sunday. All right, cool. Yankees playoffs. I mean, it's still early. It's only June or maybe July now. We still got a few months. Do we think it's still possible? I mean, it's only 5 games, right? I guess it's
yeah.
still possible mathematically. Do we think it's actually going to happen?
Well, now last night they lost Zach Britton. I don't know if you knew that with the hamstring again, right? Late
Oh, I
late
did not
innings
know that.
lost.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
lost Zach Britton, so that's another setback. Severino had a setback with the groin. That was a few weeks ago. He's not going to do back till uh, maybe the earliest September, right? September. That's a nice September call up, right? I mean,
Yeah,
having Luis Severino, that's pretty good. But they do need to do something at the trading deadline. Absolutely. I think they could still do it. I do. But they're going to play these teams head to head. They got to start winning. Yeah, that's bottom line. You got to beat them.
that,
Toronto and Baltimore are pretty much, we don't have to
they're
worry about
done.
them.
They're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Toronto has too
Well,
many
maybe
injuries
not.
they just can't overcome.
I shouldn't say that Baltimore's done. I mean, Baltimore's 21 and a half games back. That's well, you and I know Baltimore sucks because we
Well,
always
they
say
suck, right?
that. That was a joke between me and Bob. Baltimore sucks, and they just haven't changed, in a long time. Toronto's 6.5 games back though, so they do have a possibility still at this point.
They have too many
Mathematically.
injuries.
But yeah, with the
They,
injuries, they got, that's the problem. That's the big problem with them. So I can't see, unless their call ups really turn it around, I just don't see them winning. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so you talk about trading deadline. Is there anyone in particular that do you think the Yankees should pursue at this point?
Not in particular, but what they need is they need, well, I think they need actually go after maybe a third or fourth starter,
That's what I think too.
pitching.
Yep, that's what I think too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would go for a bat. Go for like a speedy outfielder. I would like to have a speedy left, handed. Gardner is what, 38, 39.
Yeah.
It's just not cutting it, and and we need a center fielder because Hicks, the injury that you're putting Gardner in there every day at center field. Not as he can play a good defense, but it'd be nice to have a steady center fielder. I don't have a particular person in mind right now at this time, but they can. There are going to be some sellers out there, so they
Yeah.
need to go after them and
So keep our eyes out. Keep our eyes out. Yeah,
Cashman needs to be active.
we need a Ricky Henderson is what we need.
Well, that'd be great, but yeah,
but there's,
miracles
I
can't
mean,
happen.
we know there's no real Ricky Henderson out there right now. But yeah, all right. So I think we talked enough about Yankees. Let's just talk baseball in general because we talked about 15 minutes Yankees, and I just want to get into this quick. I'm looking at the standings and I'm looking at who our best teams are at the moment. Houston and San Francisco. Do you think that these guys are the real teams to really start worrying about when we talk about going towards the playoffs and midseason at this point?
Well, I think San Francisco definitely is underrated. They've had a great year.
Awesome year.
They have clutch hitters. They got speed on the team, and their bullpen's been great. And their pitching overall has been great, but their bullpen is really second to none. They've been playing great, and I think it can continue with them. Houston, they're always there, right? There's no garbage cans being used. So hey, good credit to them, right? So
Yeah. What about the Mets? Because the Mets are in first place, and I found that very interesting. But they're in first place in a pretty bad division. In the division, they have a winning record, but everyone else at this point does not have a winning record in their division. Do you think the Mets will stay in first place all year round like this?
I think they can. I really do. I think Luis Rojas has been doing a great job. Kudos to him. He's just a wonderful. He knows the game, right? He's got the baseball blood in him, so to speak, and he just knows the game. I mean, yeah, he's been ridiculed for some moves he's done, but every manager is, right? So, but they're actually they're getting healthier, which is and to keep first place with these players that they've had. It's like reminds me of the Yankees a couple of years ago, like, who can come in and just, keep it rolling. And that's been they've banded together and now they're getting healthier. So I think the Mets absolutely will win the division.
Cool, great. I think it's good. I think a lot of Mets fans will be happy with that too, because they've had such painful years over the years, and especially when you start talking about DeGrom and stuff like that, and they hate the fact that the Mets are so bad whenever DeGrom pitches because he pitches so well, right? But obviously
Oh,
he's
yeah, the .50 ERA. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's going to set a record. I mean,
I know, I know.
.50 ERA. I mean, it hasn't been done. It's never been done.
No,
He's unbelievable. He is he's must see TV.
yeah, exactly.
I enjoy watching him too because he's just effortless.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't feel any pain in his shoulder by the fifth inning and take him out for any reason, that's it. Because I don't know if you're aware, he was last few games. Last game, he only pitched 5 innings in the first game of a doubleheader of a 7-inning doubleheader, which don't
Yep.
even get me started with that.
I heard I heard about that.
But before that, he lasted 4 and 5 innings. He left with shoulder pain. They've had multiple MRIs on him. Can't find anything. So, he's got to just suck it up, man up, and pitch. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
every pitcher has they call it a pitcher's arm, right? You have sore days,
Yep,
but you
absolutely.
just have to go through it. But they're getting Syndergaard back possibly. I mean, they're going to get healthier. And so you know what? I do think they're going to continue. And Edwin Diaz, he's the closer that they traded for. He's been really good. Back with Seattle when he was lights out, he's been really good. Just don't put him in a tie ball game when there's not a safe situation. And he's wonderful. So.
Good point. All right. So we have two more divisions to run through here. The NL Central, Milwaukee or Chicago, or do you think somebody else in the division is going to come around?
No, I think Chicago Cubs are again. Their bullpen's been great.
That's what I think too.
He's a good manager. Dave Ross, if people don't know who he is, he's former catcher, with the Red Sox. Obviously, as Yankee fans hate to see, he killed us. But yeah, he good overall manager. He knows his team, and they're playing good. Rizzo's playing on his contract season, and he's having a great year.
You know how that's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if they looked at a trade with him. Does he have a no trade clause? Do we know?
He does, but I believe he does, and but I think he's going to stick with Chicago.
You think so?
They like him too much. I think they'll work something out with him. I believe that, and Javi Baez having a good year. They're playing good, and KB is playing really good. Chris Bryant been great.
Yeah, I always enjoy Chicago. Watching Chicago and Wrigley Field. I never got the chance to go to Wrigley when I was in Chicago, but it's something that they're one of those teams that it's a classic team. It's basically one of your classic teams, and I enjoy them. If you ask me, second to the Yankees, maybe not. Maybe I'm kind of like, if I would lean towards another team, maybe it'd be like Tampa Bay Rays, but but maybe third to the Yankees and Rays, it'd be Chicago. All right, cool. And then we got the AL Central. I mean, basically at this point, it's between the White Sox and the Indians, and you can even forget about KC, Detroit, and Minnesota. They're so far back at this point. Between the White Sox and the Indians, I mean, do we think the Indians are going to turn it around and really get that first place? Because we've seen them play pretty well, or are the White Sox actually real this season?
I think the White Sox are real. I think all their young hitting, and now with the signing of their manager Tony La Russa, never thought he'd manage again, but
neither did I.
but he's back, and the Renaissance man, he's back. He's doing it, he's doing his thing, and he's old school baseball. He's not into the analytics and all this new age baseball, which I kind of like. And hey, good for him. They've been playing. They've been playing very well. Right now, they're in a 3-7 in the last 10, but they've been playing well, and I think they will eke out the Indians.
Cool. So yeah, all right. I think we covered everything baseball. I mean, obviously, every week this is going to be a different conversation. We're probably going to talk about what happened during the week, but I think we just wanted to cover this right off the bat. Maybe we can explore these standings at the end of July again, right? Because now it's almost end of June, and we can say, okay, what do we have? Do we think that anything changed? So we can look at that. All right, so let's switch gears to hockey, because that really is one of our main common grounds. But the funny part about that is you like the Devils and I like the Rangers. Oh, and by the way, so there's a segment that we have called "Oh, and by the way." Now, the Rangers pretty much made a lot of announcements for player personnels. I don't know if you're aware, Benoit Allaire got promoted basically to the head of goalie of the goalie division. He's basically going to be the guy. We know he was always the guy, working with the goalies, but now he is going to be the guy, basically the director or whatever it is for the goalies. And oh, and by the way, the Devils have re-signed their affiliation or extended their affiliation with the Thunder. That's right, the Thunder. Is that what it is?
They did it with the Trenton Thunder, I believe, right?
Yeah, right. It's a Trenton Thunder. Yeah, it's a Trenton Thunder, right? Yeah. So they re-signed their affiliation there. And by the way, speaking of Rangers, Mark Messier is now an ESPN analyst. He is going to be on there. I guess hockey's moving over to ESPN. What do you think about hockey moving over back to ESPN now? Do you think that's a good move for them?
I do.
I do too.
They gotta go national again. I mean, they tried these small little more back in the day verses. Remember that?
Yeah.
They
Oh
went
my
to
God.
verses.
Yeah.
And I think that was the lockouts and the verses. I think killed the NHL notoriety. I really do.
Yeah. I agree.
I think it's good. Get back on the mainstream. How about the days when they had the Deuce, right? 3 games a week. It was wonderful. And then all of a sudden ESPN had their dispute with them, and NHL was back page information, and it shouldn't be. So
back page information. Oh man. All right. Yeah, I agree. And we shouldn't have that. It's now going to be on a national stage, as far as I'm concerned now at this point. And ESPN's pretty big, and I love seeing Messier come on as an analyst, but I'm not sure if he fits in as an analyst yet, because I don't think he's ever done that, has he? I don't remember him ever being an analyst for any show or anything like that. I mean, I would have expected somebody else at this point, but I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, he's a big name. I mean, that's a pretty big name to get.
We'll see how he fits in. He's a good. He knows the game, though. I think he'll fit in all right. And, it's one of those things. He'll get comfortable as he goes along. I think. I think that's what he just. Don't be surprised if you see him behind the bench in a couple of years. This might just get him back in the kind of.
They're saying that.
Daily.
They're saying that the reason why he's going to ESPN is to lobby himself as a coach, and I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Actually, just an update on the bow. By the way, the Devils they're keeping the Adirondack Thunder as the ECHL.
Adirondack Thunder. Okay, not the Trenton. The Trenton Thunder's the Trenton Thunder's baseball.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. I've been away this week, so I wasn't sure what was going on, but I just confirmed that. So
all right, good confirmation. Not that was pretty. Not that was pretty big, but minor league's minor league.
But I have an O, by the way, as well, if you don't mind me.
Absolutely, I want to hear it.
The Giants have waived Raquel Armstead that they just picked up in May. He was a running back, and they waived him. In 2019, he had 35 carries for 101 yards, averaged 3.1 yards for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there was high. He was from Temple. There were some high expectations. Unfortunately, he was out all last year with COVID. And the word on the street is that they don't think he's ever recovered from the COVID, which is sad. But
that's sad. That is sad.
I wish him the best of luck in the future. Hopefully, he gets healthy and he can resume his career. So
that is sad to hear that. And I know we're talking about hockey, but I guess that's really an O, by the way, as well. Okay, that is sad to hear, because I was trying to remember. I'm like, where do we even see him last year? Because no. I didn't, and now you confirmed that we didn't see him last year because of the COVID.
He was with Jacksonville, and Giants picked him up in May, so so they must have seen what they not seen anything out of him, and they decided to. waive him. But
Well,
but the ju-
I guess the good news here is that we still got Barkley, we got Devontae Booker now,
and Corey Clement.
I was just gonna say Corey Clement. That's funny. And if we really want, I mean, I don't know if we want to talk about Gary Brightwell. I mean, is that really a bright spot to talk about? I don't really know.
It can be promised. I think, yeah, we'll break down the Giants at another show, but absolutely,
Yeah, I think it's we get.
The Giants have some promise. So they're going to be a sleeper this year.
I think so too, actually. And I think as we get closer to football season, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that because we don't need to talk too much about football right now. Let's go back to hockey a little bit. So your Devils were pretty bad last year.
Yeah.
What needs to happen with this team? What do they need? Do they need more scoring? Do they need better goaltending? Their defense? I mean, or is it just all around that you see the whole big personnel change in the team?
Yeah, I mean it's sad. We keep getting these draft picks, and it's like it just you see some bits and promise, and they were actually doing pretty good up until then. The whole team, well, 18 or 20 guys got COVID, and they came back, and they just were not the same this year.
Right.
I mean, that's really what happened. They got out to a really good start. They seemed hungry, and then after that, it was just back to the same old stuff and very, very unwatchable towards the end of the season.
Is Jack Hughes ever going to break out of this? Is he ever going to live up to the hype of his number one pick over there? Or sorry, it was a number two pick, whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, you hope. No, it was number
It
one.
was number one because now
Yeah.
I'm thinking Kako was the number two pick with
Because
the Rangers.
Kako was, yeah. But yeah, you would hope he would start to break out. But I don't know. There was some promise again early in the season. He added some weight, and he was doing pretty good. And then overall, just again, as a team fizzled, he did too. And 11 goals, 20 assists, not going to cut it. Yeah, you need the guy to be a 30-goal scorer. This is all you hear. He has all this skill, and hopefully this, next year he can, 56 games, guys got to have at least 20 goals. But
right. Yeah,
and the problem is they get rid of Palmieri, which good for him. He went to the Islanders, had a great run in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and but I don't know with this team. It's very frustrating. It's like the GM, they have to get on board, figure things out. They really have to figure things out. And I don't know, draft picks aren't cutting. I think they need some free agents, get some veteran leadership in there. There's no leadership, I believe, on that team.
I believe so too. I mean, I'm looking. You have three alternate captains, and it looks like Nico Hersher is your captain. I don't know if Nico really cuts it as a captain. I mean,
I don't think he does. Actually, it's funny. After they made him captain this year, the team just went right south, and he was hurt a lot too. But Mackenzie Blackwood, I think, is the real deal in goaltender. I really do. I think if put the right team around him, he could be good.
I agree, and I was just looking. I was thinking about that because I'm looking at your rosters. Basically what I'm doing on my phone right now. Because I'm familiar enough with the Devils, but not familiar with some of these names on your defense. And I'm looking. I'm like, who are some of these guys? Because I recognize PK Subban, but who is everyone else? Like, are these just a bunch of minor leaguers that were just called up? I mean, where are these guys coming from? I feel like you guys just don't have a solid defense at the moment. Okay, maybe Smith. I think Smith was the rookie that came around, right? If I recall correctly.
Yes,
so he's okay.
That's correct.
Right, but everyone else is like, who is this? And I'm looking Butcher, Carrick, Jacobs, Murray, Severson. Like wow.
Kevin Ball's a guy, a promising star too. He should come up. He should be good. Hopefully.
You think you guys have a up and comer in the defense? Okay, that's good.
Hopefully. I mean,
it's kind of horrible. And then here's my other problem with what I'm looking at. I'm looking at your goalies, and Blackwood. I agree. I think he has a lot in him to carry the team, but what if he gets hurt? Are you really going to rely on Wedgwood or maybe Dell? Like, is that really a guy? No, I don't think so. And that's another problem because you guys used to have Schneider. Ray Schneider, was that the guy you had? Schneider? I think
we did. And I was on taxi squad in the Islanders, but
yeah. And now it's done. Like Blackwood goes down, and we know Blackwood does get hurt. If he goes down,
There's no backup right now.
there's no real backup.
There's no solid backup. You're putting in a minor league backup is what you're doing.
Right, exactly, and that's
No
what I'm afraid of.
disrespect to the guys, but it's just that's what it is.
Are, are,
We don't have a veteran backup like back in the day with Marty. You had 10 weeks, right? That was a good backup.
that was a good
Solid
backup. Yeah, that's a good backup
Right.
to have.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that was a good backup
Yeah.
to have. All right, so we talk about this. Do you think next year the Devils do make the playoffs? I mean, is that because they didn't make the playoffs this year? Clearly, I mean, they were just that bad, unfortunately. Do you think that if they stay healthy enough and the full team's there, they actually make the playoffs, or was this kind of like let's wait and see what happens?
I have to see what they do in the offseason. If they keep the same roster now.
Yeah, and that's my feeling too. If they keep the same roster now, no.
They got to get a sniper. They definitely need a sniper. That would be solid to get if they can get a solid guy out there, right wing, whatever winger. If they could just get somebody that can be a clutch scorer, that's what they need. But they need a few. It's not just one player. It's a lot of pieces. Unfortunately,
I'm looking at our unrestricted free agents right now, and I'm going to throw a name out here. This name, I don't know when does he unrestricted free agency start with them, because we know it starts. Does it start in July? Teams can start signing unrestricted free agents. Is that right? I think it does. Right?
I believe it's after Stanley Cup.
It's right after Stanley Cup. Here's your top unrestricted free agent right now. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Ovechkin.
That would be a good one to have, but I just don't see him leaving Washington.
I don't think he's going to be watching it. It's going to take a lot of money for him. I mean, he's 35 years old. It's going to take.
I wouldn't mind Ryan Getzlaf though. If they could
Ryan
somehow get him.
That's an interesting one. Is he an unrestricted free agent?
Yeah, I believe so. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I did hear that.
I'm not seeing his name on here. That's interesting. I wonder if I'm seeing Dougie Hamilton, who's not a bad option, and Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who is who as we know never really panned out to be what he should have been. But he's still not a bad option. Taylor Hall too. That's interesting. Taylor Hall is an unrestricted free agent because now, do the Devils go back and try to get Taylor Hall?
No.
I don't think so either. Right.
I mean, this guy's bounced around, right? So he went from Coyotes. He went to Buffalo and Boston, all within 2 years? Not even. No, that's enough of the Taylor Hall show. He's just it just didn't work out, and just his teams don't win, and that's the bottom line. So, and I did confirm Ryan Getzlaf is an unrestricted free agent. So
so that's not a bad option. What is he, a center? Right.
He's a center. Yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
That's a perfect hit. That's a perfect guy for the Devils, and that's also a perfect guy for the Rangers.
Yeah. Did you know Derek Stepan's also a unrestricted free agent? That would be a good one to get, maybe too.
That'd be good for the Devils. I think the Rangers have set sail on that one. So let me just talk about the Rangers a little bit now, because we talked about the Devils a little bit, and the Rangers. When I looked at the Rangers, they had a pretty good team on paper. You start looking at the team, and you're like, wow. I mean, first thing you think about is Panarin, and Panarin unfortunately had two unfortunate situations last year where he had to take a leave of absence on the team, so that didn't help the Rangers out about with their winning situation. I mean, that kind of did hurt them a little bit more. But then, you start looking at Adam Fox. Adam Fox right now, I don't know if you knew this or not. I'm sure you've heard about this, but Adam Fox is a top candidate for the Norris Trophy.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Yep. So that is huge, and he was such a bright spot for the Rangers when we look at that. And then we have Bushnevich, who we know they're okay. And Kako really hasn't turned out to be the guy that we want to. Lafreniere's still a little bit young, so we have some time with him. And Zibanejad didn't really have a better season like we expected. But beyond that, we do have Igor and Georgie right now, and I don't know. What do you think about Igor? Because I felt that he could have just been better last season, and he just wasn't as great as the season before.
No, he wasn't. He definitely regressed. That could also be part of the defense around him too. It's not just it. Yeah, but yeah, he wasn't making those spectacular saves night in, night out that we saw his rookie year.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
agree.
and then he got hurt, right? And
Yep.
he got in a car accident, and he hasn't been the same since, really.
He hasn't been the same since his car accident. That's right. That's exactly what I think too. And he's been trying. I mean, we can't rely on Georgie, but we do have Kincaid, which I thought was hysterical because, as we know, Kincaid was a devil too, and he didn't turn out to be too bad last year. Actually, he was okay. I mean, he wasn't spectacular, but he had some games that he was pretty good. And it really surprised me because he's a pretty big goalie. And do you think Kincaid's a good option for the Rangers to keep as a backup and say get rid of a Georgie or an Igor if they had to?
Kincaid he's what he is he's a backup. He's not. He can't play. He's not a number one. When he did had a magical run with the Devils. I give him credit with that. But after actually that led him to the playoffs. He was really good. But then he got exposed in the playoffs, and
Right.
just I think he got worn down. He's a solid goalie for a backup. Yeah, absolutely. I think any team that could have him, it'd be a good move for him, really. And he did have a good year this year. I'm looking at his stats. He did. 2.59 goals against and
Right.
seven starts. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I mean,
No.
that's not spectacular, but not bad. I mean, and it's
Yeah.
acceptable to me. So yeah, just like the Devils, I think the Rangers what they need is a center. I mean, Howden's a good center. Blackwell didn't really turn out to be exactly what I wanted to be, and then Stroman, Rooney, whatever at that point, and Zibanejad was just kind of like I don't know. He was okay, but like is he really a number one center at this point? I don't know. We really the Rangers have always needed that number one center and Cheadle too, and he's Cheadle just kind of like disappeared a little bit. But the Rangers always needed that number one center, and we haven't seen it in a while. So getting like a Getzlaf wouldn't be a bad option, but I don't know if he's necessarily a number one center. I still would not be surprised if the Rangers threw money at Ovechkin just to see if he bites, because as you know, the Rangers have always like top big players like that. But I don't think Ovechkin's going there. So something to really think about. I don't know if there's any rumors right now for the Rangers to get any free agents at the moment. I haven't heard anything big. I think the Rangers are more focused on building from within. As we know, Chris Drury took over as president and GM right now. There was a lot of controversy behind that. What do you think about Chris Drury as a president and GM?
I think it's very interesting. He's a good hockey guy. I mean, he was a good player, so I think he knows what he's doing. I think from a hockey sense, we'll see how he is as a GM, but I think nothing wrong with having that. I mean, it was a big shakeup. Definitely surprised the world when they got rid of JD. So
yeah, absolutely.
that was a shock.
And unfortunately, it was because of the Tom Wilson nonsense. Do we want to touch base on the Tom Wilson nonsense, or do we just want to move on?
Oh, that was ridiculous. It was he should have gotten more than what he got. We'll just leave it at that. But one thing I want to add with Chris Drury, very good hiring, getting Gerard Gallant as your head coach. Absolutely, I think that's a good move.
That surprised me because I was like, well, I remember you text me about that, and I go, wait, who? And then you said, oh, the guy from Vegas, and I'm like,
yeah,
I looked, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm like, and he did pretty good for Vegas. I mean, he
did.
I mean, that's something huge. So I hope that he can work with a lot of these players and get them back on track. Not that I think they were doing too bad, but I think they could be better. We'll see what happens next season. I guess this is really a new one for us, and a coach like this that brought a team basically was considered an expansion team at this point, still almost maybe not fully, but still kind of our newest team in as far as he did. I think that now he's taking over a team that has a lot of talent, and I think he can bring them further.
Did you hear what he said this week?
I kind of alluded to it, but go ahead and touch base on it.
He basically said he wants the Rangers to be the hardest working team in the league. He wants them to compete 60 minutes every game. I mean, that's good. That's a good baseline, to do that. Obviously, every team says that, but he really wants, and he believes in it. He has a hard work ethic, and Yeah, we'll see if the players buy into that, right? Some players either run or hide. They could run or hide from it, or they buy into it and they turn to a great team. So
That's right. Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about Devils. We talked about Rangers. Let's talk about Stanley Cup playoffs. Because as we know now, the Stanley Cup playoffs starting, I think it starts Sunday night, right? It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Montreal against Tampa.
It's
Um,
actually Monday.
oh, really? Is it Monday? I thought they said Sunday night. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Montreal versus Tampa. Now, when the Stanley Cup started, I actually had slated the Islanders against Winnipeg to actually be in the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'm running through this. Montreal uh, beat Toronto in the first round, and then they took on Winnipeg in the second round because Winnipeg beat Edmonton, and then they went on from there, and then they took on Vegas and beat Vegas. Is Montreal a tough team, or are they just kind of like maybe this story of hey, they're kind of the underdog that's going to try to win at this point, or what are we looking at with Montreal?
That's what I think. They're an underdog. I mean, they got in right there. The Canadian team was playing the Western Conference winner pretty much. That's how they got in. Otherwise, they would never be able to meet in normal times. And this would be an Eastern Conference final match, right? So
Right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's very very interesting. It just sums up the COVID times. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't think they're actually going to win. They're actually, you bring numbers of the past, whatever, but in the last 3 years, Tampa's 8-2 against them. There's been some close games with them, but I just think
Wow,
Tampa
I
is a
didn't
team
know
to
that.
beat.
I didn't know that.
And Tampa's trying to repeat, for the first time since Penguins did it in 15 and 16, 17, right?
Yeah,
15,
yeah, so yeah,
yeah.
something like that.
So
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I'm just
so
looking at the rest of the finals too. I mean, Colorado moved on, took on
yeah,
Vegas, and then Vegas beat Minnesota. I really thought Colorado was going to be the team to beat on that side, but Vegas actually
I,
beat them and went over to Montreal and lost to Montreal. So I actually was very
yeah.
surprised to learn that Colorado lost because that was a lot of analysts were picking Colorado to go all the way.
They were. I actually like Vegas. I think Vegas is, Pete DeBoer's a great coach. Obviously, I'm a little biased with the Devils, but no, it's, everywhere he goes, he wins. So great coach, and yeah, I was really surprised that Montreal won. But a goaltending can, as we know, steal the show. And Price has been great. And,
Yeah, yeah.
it's gonna take him to be standing on his head, I think, for them to beat Tampa.
So funny that you mentioned that because we were texting last night and you said I'm picking Tampa to win. And then I said I'm picking Montreal to win. I actually changed my stance between last night and this morning.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. I'm actually picking Tampa to win because I gave it some thought. And as you know, Tampa is my second favorite team. I think
Yeah,
it's your second favorite team too. And really,
yeah.
when we start looking at the roster and we started watching them, we just see how calm and poised they are, and that just
Yeah.
going right into the Stanley Cup final, that's huge. I think Tampa just has that team to win it again. They're just that team to beat.
I do. I agree too. And I don't know if everyone's aware, but the Islanders haven't given up a shorthanded goal all year, except Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals. What they do? Give up shorthanded goal, the only goal of the game, and lose 1-0. So,
Hmm.
that was very, very interesting, and that's how Tampa is. Though they can, they're strong on all lines, right? So Gord
Yeah.
scored the shorthanded there, but they're just a good fundamental team, and John Cooper has them right where he wants them. He pushes all the buttons, and good coach, and Vasilevsky, you know, grade A goalie. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough for Montreal. I do think Tampa will win in 6.
Okay. Tampa wins in 6. That's a lot. That's what a lot of people are saying. Tampa wins in 6. Yeah. All right. Let me run back to the other side because we had the East, what they called the East Division Series, right? Because they called it the Northwest, East, and Central. Islanders were a pretty big surprise in the playoffs because they started out the season pretty hot. Then they cooled down, and nobody really thought that they would, because they cooled down, nobody really thought that the Islanders were actually going to even get past Pittsburgh. But they got past Pittsburgh, and then they got past Boston. Boston actually beat Washington. And then they went on to face Tampa and obviously lost to Tampa in 7. So we know. I'll just throw my thought out there. I think what helped the Islanders was the Devils coming on to them, like Palmieri and whatnot. I think that was a pretty big thing for the Islanders. Palmieri is an unrestricted free agent, so I think he'll be done with the Islanders. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to the Devils if the Devils wanted him. But I don't know. I mean, if Palmieri was a huge part of this Islanders success, do the Islanders keep him? I mean, yeah, I think they should. I really think they
Yeah,
should.
I agree. He it took him a little while to get acclimated on the island, in the regular season, but he's a clutch player, and he came up big, and especially the first 2 rounds. He was good the first 1 or 2 games in with Tampa, but they shut him down pretty much the rest of the series, and that I think was the difference of the series. That them and Zajac got shut down. That was very interesting. Trotso put Zajac and Palmieri on the same line. Smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So we know, I think the Islanders will, if they keep the same team, maybe they can make 1 or 2 adjustments. I think that next season they'll be a pretty big threat for a lot of folks. I don't know if they're realigning divisions again or not. I don't know what they're going to do. But I guess that's a team to look out for next season, the Islanders, because they got to the semifinal, and I'm sure they're going to be hungry again to try to get there again. I mean, they're a pretty good team. The one thing I was watching them last night is that they seemed a little desperate and were just trying very, very hard to win the game, which I didn't like, but they were buzzing a lot. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what are the Islanders missing? And I'm thinking to myself, they're really missing that like John Tavares that they used to have. Like it's like a player like that. I think they're missing that a little bit. I think one player will make a huge difference for them with the rest of the team that they have.
Well, remember they'll get Anders Lee back, but that was a big loss for them this
Oh,
season.
that's true. That is a good point. Good point.
Yeah, so I think that'll help. I do think they should go after Palmieri because Lou Lamoriello likes him. I think he'll be back.
Yeah, yeah.
With the Islanders, and they're moving to the new arena, so I think they definitely need to, get. They'll make a splash signing, I think, too.
Yeah,
Just to,
we're getting fans back into these arenas too. So it's vaccines or not, you're getting fans back into these arenas.
Well, and I think that makes a big difference going in the Stanley Cup final because in the Stanley Cup final, you got Tampa's going to be sold out arena, and Montreal right now they're only allowing 3,500 people. That's a big difference.
That's going to be huge energy right there for Tampa. So let's talk about Tampa. Tampa beat Florida. I don't even know what Florida was doing in the playoffs. I didn't realize they had business in the playoffs, but apparently they were pretty good this season. It was very quiet good though, which is interesting. Then Tampa went on to beat Carolina. Carolina actually beat Nashville. And then Tampa went on, obviously, to beat the Islanders to get into there. I just think Tampa's just that team right now. It's just that team again. So, all right, cool. I guess we'll see how the playoffs go next week, and we'll talk about the playoffs a little bit. How many games do we have coming up this week?
We got Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I think they go back to Monday. So we'll have 3 games we can analyze next week.
3 games we can analyze next week. So by that point, we'll know where Tampa or Montreal are at this point. But you touched base on the fans, and you and I have been to Tampa. We've gone to the Lightning game, and we know how that energy is in that building. You have a full arena like that. That's gonna be and we saw it last night on TV when we watched Islanders. I heard it and I was like, wow. I'm
it's back.
That's exactly what needs to happen for a team to win. I don't know, maybe it doesn't make a difference, but I think it does.
It does. It totally does. And I think the players realize. I think last night was the first night that all the fans were allowed back in Tampa.
Was it the first night last night? All the fans.
I believe so. Yeah, I heard. I think everyone. I think before that it was maybe 15, 14,000, but last night was 18,000. So
wow,
it was great. Yeah, it was good energy. You could feel it too. But yeah, we'll see. I was actually pulling for the, and it was just because I have the Devils allegiance. I was pulling for Lou and the boys, but yeah, they fell a little short. But yeah, when you only get 18 shots in a game 7. Gonna be hard to win the game. It really is. Tampa was a better team last night.
Okay. I don't know if I want to touch base on basketball because we are running short on time. How?
I could just give you a real quick. I believe that the right Milwaukee Bucks. I think we're going to be in the NBA Finals, and
That's what I'm hearing.
and I think it's going to be the Phoenix Suns. So
That's
we'll
what I'm
see what
hearing too.
happens.
Bucks and
Yep.
Bucks versus Suns. So right now it's what is it? The Bucks are playing, let me just see, Atlanta, right? And the Phoenix is playing LA.
That is correct. LA
Okay.
Clippers,
LA Clippers, not LA Lakers, right?
not the Lakers.
We
Right.
had to be specific on there, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm looking at, these are semifinal games. So pretty much by right, these are semifinal games, if I'm correct, if I'm not wrong. These I'm just looking
No,
at
you're
this.
correct.
Right.
These
Yeah, I
are
haven't been
the
following
conference
basketball at
finals.
all. I haven't been
That's
following
fine.
basketball at all. So I think maybe next week you can touch base on basketball a little bit more because
Sure.
get me here's what I want for next week. So here's what I want. Here's what Dan wants. Dan wants Bob to get him up to speed on everything basketball because I have not been really watching basketball. I've just known about the Knicks a little bit based upon some of the things that you've told me. And as we know, the Knicks are the Knicks.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's true. They had a good year though, but yeah, I mean
yeah,
they
yeah.
fizzled out in the playoffs.
So we'll talk about basketball next week, I think, a little bit
Yeah.
more because I think we should do that. All right. We're maybe have like maybe 5 or 8 more minutes left on this podcast, believe it or not.
Wow.
Because we have a short window of 45 minutes or so, basically because of the fact that Zoom's only going to allow us 45 minutes unless we go premium. But I haven't done that just yet. So
That's all right. I could talk sports all day if people
I know,
that know me.
I
So
know.
it's
So
it just comes natural.
So let's talk everything sports because now we get into a segment. Bob's locks of the week. Give us something for every sport that you can. Just tell us, who, we can start with basketball. We could go with hockey. Let's start with hockey. If you were to choose a lock of the week, obviously it's just Montreal and Tampa right now. But a lock of the week, what game within these 3 games that they have do you think somebody should take, and who is it you think they should take? I don't think Tampa's going up 3-0.
Oh, I don't think they're going to go 3-0, but I do think Tampa's going to win game one. I just
Tampa
think
win
they're
game
the
one. Tampa win
yeah
game one.
yeah.
All right.
I think Tampa will win game one. So if you can, I think they can win that by multiple goals. So if you want to lay the one, that might be the way to go. Probably better odds, but definitely go with the Tampa game one. And we'll see how it comes. But yeah, I do think that they're just going to be. I know they have Montreal has an extra day of rest, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I just think Tampa is gonna. You'll see how they want to prove a point early on in the series.
Okay. Basketball, obviously Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Phoenix, LA Clippers. Phoenix, LA Clippers are in game 4 at this point, and then I'm sorry, they're going to be in game 5, and then Atlanta, Milwaukee in game 3. Coming up the game, and then that series is tied 1-1. That I'm looking at it, and then the Phoenix is up 2-1. It's going to be game 4. Sorry, it's going to be game 4, and it's going to be how is that game 4 if they're up
That's
2-1,
right.
and
2-1.
then
That's
yeah.
right.
And then game 3 should actually be Atlanta, Milwaukee coming up. So coming up, this week, which team do you think we should take in what game, and any other stats you want to throw out there with them?
No, I think with the Milwaukee Atlanta, it's going to series shifts back to Atlanta. I think Milwaukee's a better team. As you see, Trae Young had to score 48 or 49 points just to get them to win by 3 in game 1, and then the annihilation happened last night with the Bucks. They destroyed them. They did a 20-0 run at one point, and they just showed they're the better team. So I think take Milwaukee is the pick straight up on the road. I don't know what the line is offhand, but I think
Straight up on the road. So you're saying,
yeah,
wow,
Milwaukee game 3. Yep,
game 3,
and,
Milwaukee.
And I think game 4, I think will be LA Clippers will beat the Suns, and I think it'll be 2-2 going back. I think that series does go 7.
Okay. All right. I'm looking at the baseball schedule because we know baseball. There's so much. So give me a lock of the week for anything baseball. Whether it's one team, two teams. What do you think?
Tomorrow, Garrett Cole against Eduardo Rodriguez.
Well, keep in
Garrett,
mind, keep in mind, we're talking tomorrow. We're uploading this on Sunday.
so I think Sunday. I think the game's at 1:10 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, and I think Garrett Cole take the Yankees because yeah, they might be down 0-2 in the series, and you got to earn the bucks. Garrett Cole's got to earn his contract, and this is big. He needs a big time performance. No sticky stuff, but a big time performance.
What about the rest of the week between Sunday, Sunday 1 p.m. games and next Sunday when we chat again?
Um, I have not had too much of a chance to look at the schedule, to be
All
honest
right.
with you.
Think about that for next week because I
Yeah,
kind of want to throw that out there for folks, right? I think that's probably
but I do think the Yankees are going to go. They're going to play the Angels and for 4 games, right?
yeah.
So I do think the Yankees. Look for the Yankees to take at least 3 or 4 of that series. I believe that.
Okay.
What games? I'm not sure yet. And then
Not
we have
sure.
the
Yeah.
we have the Subway Series next week, and I'm aware of that.
Oh, we do have the Subway Series. Ooh, that's going to be fun. All right.
Yeah,
So we can
yeah,
talk about that a little bit more.
yeah. That's
Cool.
Friday. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday 7:05, Saturday 1:05.
Cool.
So it should be interesting, and that's what I think will happen this week. Yankees 3-4, and we'll see if they can keep it rolling.
I probably won't be able to catch the Friday night game because I will actually probably be either, well, maybe I can catch us somewhere. I might actually be out, believe it or not.
Oh,
So,
that's good. Cool.
so yeah, our friend Chris, who will probably be on a podcast at some point here too. It's his birthday next Friday, and I think he invited. I don't know if he invited you or not. He should have invited you. He invited everyone though out for a celebration. So if he didn't invite you, I'll tell him make sure he did because he should
Very
have.
cool.
Yeah. Okay. I really don't have anything else. Do you think there's anything else you want to add about sports at this point?
But I think we covered a lot. I think
Yeah, I think we did too.
yeah, we pretty much covered every sport, every major sport, and yeah, we'll keep it going. Yeah,
Yeah.
just looking
Well,
forward to the weekly.
yeah. Well, I can't really cover wrestling because I got my own wrestling show going on. So
Yeah, no problem.
and it's a sport. I mean, we could probably potentially, if we wanted to talk about MMA or boxing or soccer, we can. I don't know. Is that World Cup stuff with soccer still going on? I don't even know if it is. Let
It
me
is.
see.
Yeah, it's still going on. I haven't been following it
I haven't been
closely.
following it either. I mean, I
Yeah.
know, only the two things I've heard of was that Germany was playing okay a couple of days ago, and Ukraine has been playing pretty good. But we know the most successful team is usually Brazil. I don't know where that has been. So I really want to understand where we are with the World Cup because I don't know. I just don't know right now. I really should be following this because soccer's well, you and I knew each other because of soccer, first of all. That's how we first
Correct.
met.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how we
That's
first
true.
met, and I kind of remember that. And you said, "Oh, it was here," and I said, "No, actually, it was at a field in Bridgewater, New Jersey, where we had the very first practice ever from our Immaculata High School team. I mean, we're not gonna cover high
Yeah.
school sports. I think that's just overkill, right?
No,
Unless
no,
it's something
no.
huge, but I just think that's
Yeah.
overkill. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow. I mean, what is a tournament? I don't understand what
This
the
is the
tournament
Euro
is.
2020. It's called, but yeah, I think the
Euro
knockout rounds
21, Euro 2020.
knockout
That's what it
rounds begin
is.
today, actually. So,
Okay. So we
but
can talk about that next week. So I think next week, three things in particular. Let's we can talk about the Subway Series. We could talk about just what happened in sports in general weekly. We can talk about the Stanley Cup. Get me up to speed on basketball, and maybe we can talk World Cup a little bit once we know because I'm looking. Okay,
yeah,
so I'm looking at a schedule for World Cup. World Cup. It's now Saturday, so we'll have Wales versus Denmark. I don't really know. Italy
right.
versus Australia. Netherlands versus Czech. Wow, there's a lot going on here. So I'll have to keep my eye on and Belgium, Portugal. Wow, there's so much. There's so much with soccer. England, Germany. Yeah, England, Germany is going to be a huge game. Oh, and Sweden and Ukraine. Really, Ukraine got there? I had no idea they got
Yeah,
that
it's a
far.
good
Oh,
game.
round 16. Never mind. Oh, wow. And then you got a quarterfinal after that. So after that, we had the quarterfinal. So this determines now, and the quarterfinals are not until next Friday. All right, so that's actually good. So we'll get these knockout rounds, and we'll get to talk quarterfinal, and then after that, the semifinal will be the following weeks. All right, I'm gonna keep my eye on the World Cup because I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, no, it's always exciting,
Yeah.
when during this time. So we'll see.
All right,
Yeah,
so
we'll touch base next week on it.
yeah, absolutely. All right, well, good, Bob. Always good chatting with you.
You
Um,
too, man.
this is going to be our weekly show. If I ever can't make it, I'll make sure that you have the ability to upload it if you need
Sure,
to, if you want to talk by
sure.
yourself. But I think you and I talking together makes the most sense for now because it just flows. Because
Yeah, yeah.
not surprising, not surprising.
If anyone has any questions for us, please, feel free to leave us comments on our Facebook group, and
Yeah.
I'll touch base. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Yeah, on our Facebook group. So you can find us in a nerd culture podcast on there. Yes, we're talking sports in a nerd culture podcast, which is funny. But and then we also have a Twitter. You can follow our Twitter if you want. We're on YouTube. We'll should be on Spotify soon, I hope. I'm waiting for that yes or no right now. So it's still pending at the moment. And we are also on what did I not? Oh, and Instagram too, but that's kind of like, whatever. With that. But I think we've covered most social media. The only thing we haven't covered is Twitch, but that's more streaming. So, all right, cool, man. Good chatting with you. I'll be uploading this on Sunday for certain, and I'll end this now. We'll chat again next Sunday.
All right, sounds good, man. Look forward to it.
Sounds
Take
good.
care.
Take care, man.